team and we're building team, I want more than that. I want it to be more than a team. We I want to be something to behold. It's something you got to prepare for. Really sit down and prepare for. I don't want just a football team.
Heritage Sports. Okay, so I'm going to start this with these are my takeaways from watching spring ball and spring practice for the Colorado Buffaloes so far and what they've put out. So, they, of course, you can tell they've leaned in the tempo. I mean, that's just the conference for you. You talk about the USCs, they move fast. University of Washington, the Huskies like to go fast and talking about their offense. UCLA, Chip Kelly, the really one of the originators of a fast kind of tempo offense, go, 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 go. He has a fast offense with a new quarterback. So that's just the sign of the times. Like you're going to have these fast tempo things in the Pac 12. The thing, that I'm going to talk about right now is the negatives that I've seen are again, the size. The guys look small. I'm just saying, like, you can just tell, you can look on the video, like a lot of their skill guys are not like just big. Now, don't get me wrong, just because they look small, they look like they haven't developed into their bodies, don't mean they're athletic freaks. You saw Jimmy Horn and Travis Hunter, they look slender, but they you can't cover those guys. You just can't. And that was something that the rhetoric that kept coming out of everyone's mouths, like not even rhetoric, it was just their comments. It was like they have such a chemistry with Travis and Jimmy, just getting open. They're just freak athletes. But the downside of it is it's small, and the big brother that they're trying to knock off, even though people want to say it's USC, it's not. It's Utah. And Utah doesn't have that quick tempo type of stuff. They are able to play that way on defense, but their offense isn't like that. They're going to run downhill, hit you in the mouth. Cameron Rising, will take it 10, 20 yards and look for a linebacker to hit, which is, kind of led to his injury woes a little bit. But he's a runner. He's a bigger quarterback, and that's the thing they have to take into consideration. Like I get it, they're gonna be in shape. They're gonna run a fast pace, and they're gonna just try to outrun a lot of these teams or outgun a lot of these teams because that's what the Pac-12 does, and that's what the Pac-12 is. We'll see how that goes against TCU. I think TCU can play either kind of way, but more of the Pac-12, they're going to play well against those kind of opponents, except Utah. I mean, Utah, you're going to have to match their physicality. That's how they got beat last year with Florida. They should have won that game, but they were just out physical by a more physical team in the SEC. And plus, they had Anthony Richardson, which did not hurt at all. So as much as they want USC to be the big brother, and don't get me wrong, USC is right there, right there. If USC beats Utah one of those games, they just split one of those games. They win. They may be in the college football playoffs. They win the first game, they could still make in the college football playoffs. They win the second game and lose the first game. They win, the Pac-12 and, in consideration for the college football playoffs. But, Caleb is right there. He's the reigning Heisman winner. He's well deserved. He has another year under his belt, and he's looking out for a coming out party. So he's gonna be right there. I get it. But the big dogs are Utah, so you gotta match that physicality, and I'm not seeing it in the kids, just size. So that's the only thing that's really concerning. But besides that, the competition level is high. They're gonna come up, and they're gonna want to hit some people in the mouths. And the thing that Coach Prime went on and on about is, yeah, this is great. We got a team. This is great that they're playing together and holding each other accountable and stuff like that. But I want to go further. He wants to take that step further, and he wants to be dominant, much like he did in the HBCU ranks. He wants a dominant team that's going to show up and win a lot, and wants to be in those final number of teams at the end. The thing that they have to focus on in the spring going into the summer, getting bigger skill players. That is going to be fundamentally vital going against some people in the Pac 12. Oregon State will hit you in the mouth. I forgot to say Oregon. Oregon is one of the biggest tempo offenses as well. So they have a bigger quarterback, Bo Nix. So, they're going to have to be able to step into games and not only outrun people, you're going to have to hit people in the mouth. And that's what football is sooner or later, okay? You're going to run into, you go into college football playoffs. TCU did well against Michigan. They were able to get up on them and take their physicality out of the game, but that's not going to happen. Like everything had to fall right for TCU to win that game because Michigan was such a bigger team. They just ended up having some turnovers and being able to make things work, and they were able to use the clock against Michigan instead of the other way around. So when you run into teams like a Georgia, like a Ohio State, they have the biggest skill players and they can cover little guys, the medium guys, the bigger guys. So I think that's something they're gonna have to lean heavily into the transfer portal. So just to recap, what am I seeing? I'm seeing great competition level. I'm seeing a lot of just continuity between the team about wanting to be good and knowing what kind of opportunity they have before them. I'm seeing the coaching staff put together their best stuff, and it is formulating into something that could be a successful season. But as Coach Prime talked about, he doesn't want just the team. He doesn't want just a successful team. He wants a dominant team. And what I'm not seeing on the stuff they're putting out is the size. They're going to have to hit the transfer portal a little bit more and get some guys in there that can play and that can grasp a playbook in 2 months because they'll just have the summer, and that when they get off the bus, they look imposing and they can play that way. They have some players like that. Don't get me wrong. They got a few players that can play on Sundays. Got a few players that can really make a difference on Saturdays or whenever they play. The problem is when you go against the elite teams that Coach Prime is talking about, it's not just good enough to be good. If you want to beat the USCs, you want to beat the Utahs, and you get in the college football playoffs and you want to beat the Michigans, people like that, or you want to beat the Georgias, the Ohio State, you really want to compete, you have to get bigger skill players. The offensive linemen were great. They looked adequate size. I didn't get a chance to see each and every one of them. But the skill players, man, they have to get bigger. Some of them just looked completely, like not growing into their bodies. They just look shorter. And you can't, when you have those kind of guys on your team, it got to be one or two of them that are just him, that are just special, not a multitude of them. So that's something I think they're gonna need to improve on. But those are just my thoughts. Y'all let me know what y'all think about it. I'm still hyped up about the season. I don't know if it's gonna be that special season he's talking about without improving that aspect of the Colorado Buffaloes. Y'all have a great one.